Hello everyone, this hour on Verbling. The next in my Hot Topic series. We're working now on the second hour of our Hot Topic, is graffiti art? In this hour, we're going to be basically reading aspects of a debate about an action that was taken in New York City, which brings to mind and brings to maybe the forefront of our discussion whether or not graffiti is art or vandalism. So in the last class we worked on vocabulary. We looked at some interesting vocabulary related to art and graffiti, and in this hour we're going to use that vocabulary to help us in our discussion of the difference between graffiti and art, or whether there is no difference. Maybe they can be both at the same time. Well, that's a little bit about my class. Here's a bit about me. I'm Jon-Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour. I'm an American teacher from New York, hanging out in Lisbon, Portugal to bring you this class. Here are 3 quick rules to help you participate in my class. Don't forget to turn off, tune in, and open up, which means turn off your microphone when you're not speaking so we can keep the classroom quiet. Tune in to the new vocabulary words that you're learning when you are speaking so I can give you feedback and correct you. And finally, open up to your classmates. Relax and have fun. We're all here to learn, and this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English. Well, we're going to get started in just a moment. First, let me just say a quick hello to, is it Gala or Gela? How do I say your name?
It's Gala. Hello.
Gala. Hello, Gala. How are you?
Thank you. I'm fine. And how are you?
I'm okay. Where are you from, Gala?
I'm from Georgia.
From Georgia?
Yes.
You know, we don't get a lot of people from Georgia here.
Am I the first one?
Yeah, I think you are. I think you actually are.
Yes.
Interesting. And where are you in Georgia?
In the capital, Tbilisi.
Okay, very good. Hang on just a second. No, you're not the first. No, you're not the first. There's someone else, but it's been too long. I can't remember his name. Can you write in Georgian using on your keyboard?
Okay.
I just want to see the writing. Can you write something in the chat window? It's like the most amazing alphabet.
Yes. Do you see it?
Oh, there we go. Look at that.
Yes.
It's like a work of art. Look at that.
Thanks.
What does that mean?
It means hello.
Oh, that means hello?
Yes.
So many letters to say hello.
Yes. It sounds kamarjoba. And to translate directly, it means willing to win.
And say it again. It's kamarchoba?
Kamarjoba. Yes.
Kamarchova.
Yes.
Okay, good. And it means willing to wake?
Willing to win.
To win? Like win the lottery?
No, win the battle, for example.
Oh, wait. You mean wine or win?
Win.
W-I-N, win.
Yes, W-I-N, yes. It comes from ancient Georgian, and in that time people willing each other to win. Yes.
But I think we've got a translation problem here, because when you say win like win a contest, right? Like this, win a contest. I'm the winner.
Yes.
So, and when you say willing, it means like I want to.
Yes, I want you to win.
Oh.
I want you to win. Yes.
Wow. And what should I win? What do you want me to win? Life?
It means to succeed in your life. Good willing to succeed.
Okay. So maybe we could translate as wishing you well. We have an expression too, well wishing. You can say that. That's a way to greet someone. Well wishing them. Well wishing.
Yes.
So literally willing to win, but I think wishing would be a better translation because it makes more sense in English to
Yes.
say wishing. Wishing you well.
Wishing to, yes.
Yeah. Okay, very good. Komarcha? I forgot it.
Kamarjoba.
Karmachova. Karmachova.
I will say it slowly. Kamarjoba.
Kamarchova. Is that good or bad?
It's good.
Okay. Okay. More Georgian in the next class. Oh, it's ga, not
Thanks.
ka. Ga
Yes.
Marchova. Oh, I was saying ka. That's what it was. Got it. Okay, we'll have to hold off on our Georgian lessons until another time. But for now, here's what we're doing. In the last class, we worked on a lot of vocabulary because we read about, we listened to an article about a controversial decision by an owner of a a youth club who removed a Banksy graffiti painting from the wall of the club, and he's trying to sell it to make money. And that raised a lot of issues. So, for one thing, is graffiti art, or is it something, or is it vandalism? Does he have the right to sell it? Well, here what I'm going to do is share my screen with you. Actually, I need to give you the link to the article. So first, let me share my screen so you can, let's go back to the article, and you can see the picture there on screen. It's a little bit small. I'll make it bigger. Whoops, 1 second. You can see the painting there, okay? And I'll give you the link to the article if you weren't in the last class. So, whoops. Give me a second here, 1 moment. Okay, so article. Okay, if you want to open this yourself, click on the link that I just posted for you in the chat window. Okay, and you've got it there in the group chat as well. All right, so the article that I read is about this painting or this graffiti, and you had to guess some vocabulary words afterwards. So if you go down a little bit, after the listening, you'll see that I posted the full text for you, and you can get the answers by looking at the full text. So if you want to try that on your own, we already did it in class, but if you want to try it on your own, you can read it, fill in a word that you think fits, and then see how close you are by reading the full text, which is down below. Okay? So in this case, the interesting thing is that the government, I've got a few discussion questions here. The government decided that the painting belonged where it was, right? The painting belonged where it was. I think what we're going to do is this. Because you weren't here in the last class, Gala. So why don't we do this? We're going to I've got a different activity for you to do in this class, but let's just, as an introduction, do look at this article that we just read very quickly with the right vocabulary, okay? And I've got a few discussion questions to think about the difference between graffiti and art. Then what I'm going to do is give you a set of links to talk about it by looking at some arguments that are made in both cases. We're going to summarize some of those arguments and then give our own opinion. So that'll be in the second half of the class. Okay, so let's start by just, as a review to Giuseppe and Raphael and Yuki, review to you, but let's do an introduction for Jason and Gala. Okay, so
Okay.
Jason, why don't you read the first paragraph where it says reading, okay, and Gala, you read the second, and I've got some questions for you afterwards, okay?
Okay. So, a new painting by the guerrilla artist Banksy.
Banksy.
Banksy is currently the focus of a heated argument in the city of Bristol, England. The painting appeared overnight on a building. The leader of a nearby youth club,
Of a nearby
youth club, Dennis Stinkhorn, couldn't believe his luck when he saw it and discovered it was a Banksy that could be worth up to $150,000.
Right.
He prized it
He
off.
prized it off.
He prized it off the wall using a crowbar and stored it in the youth club. However, the city mayor said Mr. Stinkhorn had no right to take the painting as it was on the wall of a city-owned building. The mayor wants the painting put back. Stinkhorn said it would be vandalized and hoped to auction it to raise money for the youth club. He has since received these threats from hungry Banksy fans.
Right. Death threats. People are saying they're going to kill him because he's trying to sell this painting and he took it off of where it was supposed to be. Okay, Gala, why don't you continue to the second and last paragraph?
The painting has been called Mobile Lovers. It depicts a man and woman embracing while checking out their mobile phones over one another's shoulders. Art by Banksy is much sought after the world over. The mysterious artist, who is only known by the pseudonym Banksy, has become famous for paintings left on walls and buildings around the world. Many have been removed by building owners and caused similar spats. Wikipedia says Bansky's work combines dark humor with graffiti executed in a distinctive stenciling technique. Bansky's work is heavy on political and social commentary. The city mayor said it was against the spirit of Banksy and street art to remove it from where the artist put it.
Good. Just say the artist's name again here in bold. Say that again.
Bansky or Banksy?
Listen to me. Bank. Repeat.
Banksy. Oh, sorry. Banksy.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're switching the K and the S.
Yes.
Banksy. All right. How would you summarize, both of you, Jason and Gala, how would you summarize the polemic issue here? Because based on this little article, this is about more than just some mayor or some town. It's really about what is art, or about, I should say, about what art is. How would you sum up the issue being raised here? What's the controversy here? Jason, what do you think? What's the controversy? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Gala. Go ahead.
Yes, just I would say there is a contradiction between the no.
Yes, it's fine. What's the contradiction?
Yes, between the Banksy painting and the fact that the Banksy painting is made on the wall illegally and
right.
Yeah, without the allowance of the public of a mayor, of a city mayor. So,
and yet the city mayor is the one defending it. Right? Right? So the contradiction is there, that on one hand it's vandalism because he didn't ask permission to paint in a public building, he just did it. On the other hand, the mayor is the one defending it, and the owner of the youth, not the owner, but the manager of the youth club is the one who's trying to sell it and use the money for his own purposes, right? So Mr. Stinchcombe is the youth club manager, and the mayor, I don't think we know his name, the mayor is saying, no, you got to leave it where it is because it's a public art. And the youth club owner wants to sell it and use the money for funding his youth club. So he might have a good purpose in mind, but the mayor's saying he doesn't have the right to do it. Gela, what do you think about this? Who's right and who's wrong? Is the mayor right to defend it? Is the youth club owner right to try to sell it? I mean, after all, it's for a good purpose.
I think it's a very controversial topic. This guy, Banksy, didn't have any permission to paint, yes?
We don't know if it's a guy or a girl, by the way. We don't know anything about Banksy, I think.
This person, yes. So it seems very weird that mayor tries to defend this person. Maybe he or she is his relative or something. I don't know. Yes, I understand. I understand that it looks great, maybe, and this painting is very beautiful, but I think it's vandalism. Because if you have permission, it's okay. But if nobody asks you to draw something, why you should? For example, if someone comes to my home and draws at my door, it's vandalism. And no matter if he draw very beautiful thing or very ugly thing.
Yeah, that's definitely part of the controversy. By the way, on Wikipedia, it always says he. He was inspired by local artist. So maybe it is a guy. I thought that it wasn't really clear whether it was who it was. I thought he was totally anonymous, actually. Anyway, so maybe it is a he, because I'm just trying to look if we can see. No, can't really tell. But anyway, you definitely would know his work because it's become iconic. It's iconic because it's icons, but it's become worldwide known. Let me just see if I can quickly draw up some of the famous images here. Hold on one second. Let's see. Give me just a second because I want to see if I can just put on screen a few of them that you probably have seen before. One moment. Yeah, let me share my screen with you for a second. 1 second, please. So you can see, hold on a second here. See if I can make this big on screen. There we go. This is a great one. So you can see the kind of stencil design so that he's able to get in and out without anyone really seeing what he's doing. Here's a very famous one you might have seen before. Can everyone see the images?
Yes, I know it.
Yeah, okay. And here's another one that's in the news right now. This is great. Look at this. Can you see what they're doing? I don't know if the picture's big enough. Can you see what they're doing?
They take picture.
Say again?
They take picture of the... No, they try to listen the woman who is speaking.
Yeah, it's like old-time surveillance. So this is in the news because of the NSA. So this is his comment about NSA wiretapping, phone tapping.
They are tapping conversation.
Yeah, exactly. This is a good one. And here's one.
NSA tapping.
Exactly.
Cursors.
And this is one from the Olympics.
Conversation.
This is one from the Olympics. They're robbing one of the Olympic rings. Okay, I just want to give, so there's some of the work, some of that you might have seen before, just so we know what we're talking about. Hang on just a second. Let me get this back on screen. Okay, so I just have a few questions for us to think about. The first one, we saw the picture. We saw some other examples of his work. What do you think is meant by guerrilla artist? What's a guerrilla artist? So Gala already talked a little bit about him not having permission. But Giuseppe, what makes a guerrilla artist? Remember I said, because we all said it, we all thought the word was graffiti artist in the beginning, and I said no, just like Che Guevara was a guerrilla fighter, revolutionary, Banksy is a guerrilla artist. What's a guerrilla artist to you? What do you think that means?
Well, at first, when I look at the words, the first it looks to me that it seems a way to fight, the way to fight something.
So guerrilla, like guerrilla war, like the connection is like that. You mean?
Yeah, something like that. Because
and
guerrilla.
So we have to define guerrilla war. What's the difference between guerrilla war and regular war? Why is Che Guevara so famous today that his face is on T-shirts of hipsters around the world? what did he? You know, he wrote a book about guerrilla warfare. He wrote a manual about how to do guerrilla warfare. So what's it? This is for everyone, by the way, not just Giuseppe. Class. What's the difference between guerrilla war and regular war?
Guerrilla warfare operates with small groups.
Small cells, or yeah, small groups. Okay.
And they conduct flexibly, and hit and run is their principle. So they don't have a front line. Yes.
Okay, so in the old days, you'd have soldiers marching in lines, very orderly, right? And guerrilla warfare was a different tactic where there was no front line. Okay, very good. It's important to point that out because the first instance of guerrilla warfare, like historically that I can think of, was the American Revolution. They were famous for not fighting in orderly lines like the British, and that's one of the reasons why they won, right? Because they were attacking by surprise in random ways without, hiding behind trees. And the British thought they were really cowardly for doing that. But they won the war. So maybe it depends on whether you're the winner or loser. And if an artist puts a painting on a wall, can anyone take it? What do you think, Jason? Does anyone have the right to take it if it's just put on the wall? I mean, after all, it's in a public space. Doesn't anyone have the right to just take it there? Take it home with them?
Maybe I would say the painting of Banksy is great, and I think there should be stay on the wall, and nobody can take it for their home, I think.
Right, but if I leave a $20 bill on the street, right, someone's going to pick it up. I mean, I've left it out there for anyone. So why shouldn't we just take it if we like it, Jason? What's the argument against taking it off the wall, in your opinion?
My argument is the benefit after that, when the painting is on the wall, the benefit is for the people who are on the street. They can see.
Okay, so it's for the public. It's not for private use.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's a purpose of the philosophy of Banksy to demonstrate idea in the street for people. It's not for private use or private aim.
Okay. But Gala said it's vandalism because he didn't have permission, right?
Yeah,
so,
but I think the best is to not have this painting on hall.
it's really hard to hear you, Jason. It's very hard to hear you. The best is not to have the painting where?
No, I think the Bonsky painting is not on the personal house, it's on public building.
It is. Yeah, it's on a public space. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. And? and so what?
Just yes. So people are not front of this problem. Usually, people are not front of this problem because usually this painting is on the public building. So
public building. Not poo, but public.
Public.
Right. Okay, well, that's one of the things we have to talk about, whether or not it's vandalism, because it's true he didn't have permission. But Jason, sounds like you're saying that that's the point. If he asked permission, it wouldn't really be art. That's part of the art, is to kind of break the rules, to break the law. So we've kind of covered question 4 as well. Who does the public belong to? Perhaps it belongs to the public because that's the point of Banksy's painting being on a public building. But what about this question, Raphael? Should the painting be auctioned for the youth club? Okay, maybe it's vandalism, but maybe that's part of the point of his art, and maybe it belongs to the public because he put it in a public building to question about public and private, make us think about it. But the youth club probably could use money, and the youth club is there to help kids in trouble, to give them something to do. So what's wrong with auctioning a public painting to help the youth club? I mean, is that a bad thing? What do you think, Raphael?
I think there is a controversial about graffiti, an artist, piece of art, and who is the owner. When a graffiti is a kind of vandalism, the mayor of the city and the government say this is horrible, this is awful, nobody wants anything.
Not in this case, though. Not in this case. The mayor likes it. In this case, the mayor is supporting it. But yes, usually, we're going to read about a case in New York where the mayor had a very different point of view. But sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. On the line.
You said.
Yeah.
You were saying that usually the government is against it.
Yeah, but when the painting has a value and it's an important artist that also is a beautiful drawing, so the government wants to be the owner of the proprietor of the painting. This is a very contradictory situation. Who is the owner? The owner could be this guy that the youth from the youth club that in
from
real
the youth club. Repeat, youth club.
The youth club that in real is the owner of that painting right now, because the facade of this youth club is his property. But by the law, I think, at least in Europe, the owner of the facade of any kind of office or local.
Wait, one second. Wait. It's better to say facade with an S. Facade.
Facade.
Facade. Instead of facade, it's facade.
The facade of one office is the owner of what happened there. But always is related this controversial situation, and we could argue about it. It's about money. How much it's worth, how much it costs, and it has a value. Everybody try to catch the painting and the painter but this is a kind of vandalism and don't give any profit. Nobody wants to be the owner of that situation.
Right, right. And
this
and,
is
and
one of the
also
points.
and also I'm not 100% sure that the youth club is a private space. I have a feeling that the youth club is a government funded entity,
Yeah.
and that this guy is just the manager of it.
In this case, I agree with the mayor. This is a property of the city, and for this reason, the manager need to be return back or put back the painting to the city.
There's a case when I was I used to live in New York. Basically grew up there, more or less. I wasn't born there, but I spent my formative years there. And when I first arrived to New York, I will absolutely never forget when I arrived in Greenwich Village. The streets in Alphabet City where I was living were covered with mosaics. It was the most amazing thing. I made a film about it, actually. And I tried to document some of the mosaics. And by the time I left, one of the reasons why I left New York is because the city scraped them, they painted over them, and they chiseled them off the walls. It was very much like a Banksy situation. The guy who made the mosaics is a pretty famous artist, and they were really, they really added something. Everyone liked them. But of course he didn't do it, I don't think he asked permission, he just did it. When I went back to New York the last time, I don't remember seeing a single mosaic left anywhere. I think that he might have had a few pieces that he had asked permission for, something like that. And I saw a website about it too. I could maybe share with you if I can quickly find it. But it was really amazing. It was something that made that part of the city really distinctive and showed that it was a place that really valued art and artists. And the city got a facelift, and that became the prime real estate. When I first went there, people were getting shot in the street. It wasn't as dangerous as people said, but it was dangerous. It definitely didn't feel that safe, and a lot of stuff was happening. By the time I left, it was safe, and it was also boring. It was completely boring. All the art was gone. It was much more completely commercialized the way it is today. And people were there because it sounds like a cool place to be. And some of the most interesting places were shut down, like all the squats, all the illegal occupied spaces where the artists used to work. There are people who occupied buildings and did metal work, iron work, and all this stuff. It was absolutely amazing. And of course, Bloomberg wasn't going to have any part of that. And before that, Giuliani was, complete Philistine. He wasn't going to have any part of that either. What I'm saying is, New York totally lost its character, and it's one of the reasons why I just didn't even want to be there, to be honest with you. It lost something that was so unique that really drew me to the place. So I really understand where this is coming from. I can relate to it personally. Anyway, if I can find some pictures of those mosaics, I'll share it with you, but it's going to take a little while, so I don't know if I can do it in this class. Look, in the second half of the class, what we're going to do here is we've got a little debate, because speaking about New York, you'll see here New York City's police commissioner, William Bratton, recently refocused police efforts to crack down on graffiti vandalism. The New York Times calls this graffiti vandalism. So already there is a judgment being made. This is taken from the New York Times. Even as many street artists have begun to sell their art through elite galleries for hundreds of thousands of dollars. When does graffiti become art? Does the market for street art create a difference between vandalism and graffiti? There's a lot of questions here. The last question in particular is interesting. It's not a random question. The last question comes from a debate in philosophy. Is it the art world that creates the art, or is it the art itself? Is there something intrinsic to a work of art that makes it art? So that question is not there as randomly as it may seem. It's really a central debate in aesthetic philosophy. Does the market for street art create the fact that it's art, or is it art because of the intention of the artist? Or is it art because of where it's put? Or is it art because it itself is autonomous? These are things which are kind of central issues to what art is and what art isn't. Okay, so what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you quickly read and summarize one of the points of view and report back to the class. So this skill, it's not going to be that easy, but it's a skill that you should have in English anyway. You're going to quickly skim through the article. You don't have to read the whole thing. So I'm going to give everyone 5 minutes to read one article, and I've got an extra one for one of you. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to go to our document. I'm going to put your names next to a link. If it lets me scroll down, give me a second. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to skim through it quickly. You don't have to read absolutely everything. And then we're going to have a debate where we're going to start with the point of view that you read about. Okay, so maybe I can put Gala here, and Giuseppe here, and Jason here, and Raphael, put you here. Raphael. Okay, so you've each got your links. Okay, you're not going to see this on screen, by the way, because I can't. I'll share my screen so you can see what I just did. Hold on. One second.
What document?
I'm going to give you a different. I've got a different one for you. Okay. Give me just a second. Okay, so you can see I put your names next to the links. Okay, so Gala, you're going to open the first link. And you're just going to, you don't have to read the whole thing, but read it quickly, get the general idea, and try to present it back to the class in a very short summary. Okay, can you see your link, Gala, there? Can you see it? Gala?
Yes, I
Okay.
see.
Okay, great. So you're going to click on that link. Hold on, let me get my... Hold on. Okay, there we go. So you're going to click on that link. You have to open our shared notes. Okay, so if you don't open the notes, you can't click on the link, of course. Okay, and what happened? Raphael, did he disappear? Did Raphael go?
Yes, he left the class.
But did he leave permanently, or did he leave because I have to leave? Sorry. Oh, okay, okay, I see. Okay, so look, Yuki, then I'll give you Raphael's, okay? I'll give you Raphael's link. I had a different one, but that's okay. Yuki, you're going to take that one. Okay? So I'm going to give you,
Okay.
I'm going to give you not even 5 minutes, 3 minutes, because we're going to run out of time. 3 minutes, read through it, get the general idea, okay? Just be able to give us a short summary, and then we're going to use those points of view to debate, okay? Any questions? Everyone know what we're doing? Any questions? Are you ready? Ready? Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay, very good. Okay, your 3 minutes starts now. Start reading. Okay, how are we doing? Did everyone get a chance to just get the main idea out of their article?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, Jason, ready?
Yes, ready.
Yeah? Gala, you ready?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. So, in the next, we're going to try to spend 1 minute each. You're going to give a really short summary. You're not going to present your own idea. You're going to present the idea that you read about, okay? And we're going to try to use those arguments to have a discussion for the rest of the class. But I'm going to use a time. Say again? Sorry? Did you ask a question, Gela? I couldn't hear what you were saying.
No. Sorry.
Okay. So I'm gonna impose a time limit here of 1 minute to do the summary, only because I want you just to state the main idea and just only the important details. Okay. Otherwise, we won't have time to do everyone. Okay. Gela, you're gonna go first because I gave you the first link. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay. Your 1 minute starts now.
Okay, this my article is written by by the co-founder of Graffiti History websites, Eric Felisbert, and this guy is, loves this graffiti, and he thinks that it's art, and it doesn't matter if it's even crime. Even in this case, we have to consider that it's crime, but at the same time it's art. And as he says, everybody thinks that it's art. And I could not write a whole article, but at the end, I read that. It would be better if government creates some places for graffiti artists to express their art and paint on the public places in where they would have some permissions.
Okay, very good, very good. Let's go through all of them and we'll ask questions to each other at the end. If you want to keep looking through the article, Gala, to get more details, go ahead if you'd like to keep looking at it. So it sounds like in the first article, the point is it's vandalism and art because the point of it is that it really has to break the law. That's part of the point, part of the meaning. But if there could be a public space for them to do their artwork, then that might solve the problem. It sounds like that's what the gist of the first article. Okay, very good. Good summary. Giuseppe, your 1 minute starts now.
Okay, the article talks about graffiti, and the author of the article reported that graffiti is an act of vandalism because anyone would allow to the artist to painting his own wall, and without asking any permission, of course. And as a matter of fact, behind the graffiti, there is a sort of criminal intent. That's why, even though they are seen as a tool to show peace, it's not always. It's not always true because, as I said before, graffiti is an act of a crime. And
okay, time's up. And I just add one point to that. She makes the point that a museum would never allow itself to be vandalized. An art museum itself, she claims, would never allow it to be vandalized. You couldn't go spray paint on the wall of the Met and get away with it. So she uses that as an example of how we know the difference between art and vandalism.
Yeah.
Right, that was the point you made. Okay. Okay, very good. Jason, your 1 minute begins right now. Go ahead, Jason.
Well, yeah, the article is deal with graffitis. It talks about a woman who are arrested and a woman with her husband was arrested in her apartment, and the art supplies was taken away by the police. And after that, she talked about the history, a little bit about the history of graffiti. And after she pointed out the fact the graffiti is a kind of a rebellion philosophy against the against against society. For example, she talks about the fact we can have a graffiti instead of advertising on the wall, and she thinks it's a great idea. And further, she say the
10 seconds left.
Yeah, she say painting are exposed in the museum. That is an evidence of the success of graffiti arts.
Absolutely, and she adds that it could not only is it recognized as art, but it could empower children because it tends to be young people who do it. So maybe it's such a positive thing that it will lead to really. It's almost like a kind of education for young people. She asked the question, will this empower children in the future? Because they're the ones who tend to be doing it, young people. Okay, very good. Last one. Yuki, are you ready? Your minute begins in 5, 4, 3, 2. Yuki, go ahead.
Graffiti is placed somewhat between art and vandalism. It is difficult to define what graffiti is. But recently, the perception of graffiti has been improved, and there is some example of we appreciate of the worth of graffiti in the city of Rio de Janeiro. In Brazil, people now have put graffiti to good use for social development. However, there is however, graffiti is needed to be controlled by law for somewhat. Graffiti artist is now struggling in how to say to be active inside of in the line of the law. Oh, sorry, I can't hear you.
This is street art from Lisbon, Portugal, where I live, and this was allowed by the city hall, and it was sponsored by a company that sells paint. And you can see they just went these Brazilian. I think these were Brazilian artists, if I remember right. They did their art with full permission, and they did it on abandoned buildings, which were really ugly. So it's actually, this is one you can see. Just because you mentioned the Brazilian street art, and I think they were invited from Brazil. Let me see if I can find another good one here.
Sorry, John, your voice has
well,
been.
Here's the other side.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Your voice has been cut, so I didn't know what happened. Have you heard my presentation?
Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me now? Yeah. Yes, I was just showing you some examples of the Brazilian street art, but that was done here in Lisbon. I don't know if you could see on the screen a moment ago, but maybe when I have too many things open, it's difficult to see, or it's difficult to hear my voice. So now I want to turn it over to you. Think about the opinion that you read and give me your opinion, and let's discuss it as a class. Okay? So, Gela, do you agree with the opinion that you read about?
Yes, actually, I agree that this guy is for this guy. It's better to allow this graffiti art, and a lot of people would give an opportunity to express themselves. But on the other hand, he is not quite. He says that it would be better if he see graffiti art if it's purest way, and he means that even breaking the law somehow it's gives I don't know, better under pressure artists paint better, I think.
Mm-hmm. Is it only that artists paint better? Paint better, you mean in their reception by the public, or paint better as individuals? Maybe I didn't understand. What do you mean by they paint better under pressure?
Yes, individually, maybe when someone is forbidden, it's
okay.
much more, how to say it, much more valuable.
Much more valuable. So maybe they put more passion, or
yes,
more.
yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And so you agree with it on the whole?
Partially, I agree that it would be better if these guys will be given permission, opportunity to, for example, as you mentioned, paint on old buildings. It's a great idea.
Yeah, it really helped downtown Lisbon, because those buildings are sitting there for years, maybe decades, just doing nothing. And I think it really adds something. And it's very individual art. It's not meant to be public art at all. It's quite political, not dangerously political, but it's got a political message to it. But I think it adds a lot to the city. And Giuseppe, do you agree that art is always vandalism? That graffiti is always vandalism? That's what Heather McDonald was saying in your article, right? Giuseppe, are you there? Uh-oh. Microphone problem? Try to re-enter the Hangout, Giuseppe, because we can't hear you. Okay. And Jason, we're back to you. What do you think about the central argument here about the fact that this, one hand, it's inspiring young people, and they weren't doing the graffiti in a place that was really bothering anyone. It was kind of like these abandoned subway tunnels, wasn't it?
Yes, I think yes. I would say it might inspire young people to make some graffiti painting. But I think the limit is when people go paint the graffiti in the subway tunnel, or because it's a little bit dangerous for them, and But yeah, but it's quite graffiti in the subway is quite good, I think.
And she makes the point that it doesn't take formal training. I mean, part of the point is that it's something that kids can just do right away. So she sees it as something very positive. I think that's really, I think that's an important point because, you know, it's like the one maybe non-commercial thing that you can do. You know, it kind of takes a little bit of money. You've got to buy paint, but it doesn't take years of training. You do it and it's expressive right away. So she's got a point about, and it's seen by the public. It's not just something you hang on your refrigerator, right? So there's some kind of public reaction. So I can't see how that would be a bad thing in general. It's another point. Giuseppe, how's your microphone now? Is it working? Let's see if he's got his mic working. Giuseppe, how's it go? Hello? Are you there? Nope, we lost him. Okay. Yuki, we're running out of time, but tell me what you think about graffiti as a public good.
I agree with the idea that graffiti is a public good, because if it on the in another word, sorry. If it were just a street side stone, or it is unknown non-charm unknown art, nobody pay attention to the art. But now many people appreciate the value of graffiti because it have some kind of charm. So I think this charm can be used for raise the charm of this city. So city would be activated, rejuvenated by the help of graffiti. In some Japanese villages, underpopulated process is going. So some villages try to introduce graffiti to decorate city. So it goes successful. So I think graffiti we have a lot of things to think about the value of graffiti.
Okay, very good, very good. Can everyone hear me okay? Because I think something's wrong with the Hangout.
Yes, I hear you.
You hear me? Okay. And so, final thoughts before we run out of time completely here. Some final thoughts. Would you I don't know, approve of or support a graffiti effort? I mean, support public graffiti. If Banksy was coming to your city, would you? What I'm basically trying to say is, I'm thinking about what happened here in Lisbon. No one asked any of us taxpayers if we wanted the buildings to be painted on, but I'm completely for it. If I was asked, I would say absolutely. In fact, they should do more. If there was a because my point of view is that citizens aren't really asked about anything, particularly in Europe. They're not really asked. There's no real democracy here anyway. In the United States, there's arguably more, but in a way, there's also more deception. So, I mean, no one ever really asks anyone what they think. So that's part of the problem here, is that there's no real way to vote on it. But if the government was going to allow public art or graffiti in public buildings, would you support it? So last comments here. If it was going to happen where you live, would you support it? This is open to the class, so give me your final opinion.
Okay. For example, if sorry. If Banksy or Bensky come to my town, I would welcome him or her because, as I saw, he has great art workings, masterpieces, and in my town there are very many old buildings with gray colors. So it would be beautiful. So I would welcome him or her definitely.
And what do you think, Jason?
Yeah, I would say the same thing.
Where are you living now? I can't remember.
I live in Paris, in suburb of Paris.
Ah, okay.
But in France, we have some artists who paint on the building. A famous photographer, whose name is doesn't matter. Maybe you have some photography all over the world, and I think it might be a great thing to have some paint on different world. But the problem is when
Hello.
Hello, Elena. Class has been finishing.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. Bye.
How do you think, Jason? Maybe teacher doesn't come back?
yes, I think so.
I'm sorry for you. I don't know. He'll come back or not.
But just I talked about the famous artist in France.
Yes.
Who maybe you know, and he's made some photography and he put this on the wall of a building, a big building. And
yes.
Oh, I think no, it doesn't come back. For me, I'm going.
Oh, okay.
I just come back.
Oh, John, come back. Where have you been, John?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Because I was talking and no one could hear me, so then my browser crashed.
You just gone.
It wasn't me. It was Banksy. It was Banksy making a statement. Anyway, well, I think we actually have to stop. But anyway, sorry about that. So I think it was interesting. I think this was an interesting format. Maybe I'm gonna try to use this. Maybe I just need to give you more time at the end to have an open discussion. Because, but it's the first time I was trying it this way. So basically, what I'm going to try to do is just have the discussion a little bit earlier.
I think this style is very good for try, but I think it would be no time to discuss about it for about many kind of themes. Everyone have own articles. They differ from each other. It is very difficult to
Sure,
discuss.
sure. But
of
I
course,
wanted to give everyone a clear point of view to react against.
but
So
we don't know others article what others article is like. So I think
right, but you're going to know just from people summarizing. So
but it often we don't understand what the other student is saying. It's difficult,
why is
maybe
that?
because of the pronunciation, because of the grammar incorrectly. So it is very difficult to understand just by speech of student without knowing the article, basic article. So.
Well, then we've got to work on our skills in summarizing. If it's difficult to understand each other, right, we've got to be able to come to kind of a statement that gives the main idea. Because
I understand the purpose of this class, but we already read that article, yeah, first article. Why we can't discuss about it?
We can, we can. We ran out of time.
We couldn't. I couldn't speak out about it at all. So it is regretful. It is regretful a little.
No, I agree, but it's because we ran out of time. So what I'll do next time is make sure that there's at least 20 minutes at the end of class where we can have the discussion. Because I was experimenting today, what I was worried about is that these classes have no levels, right? You can come into the class if you're a beginner or if you're advanced, and
Yes,
a lot of times people are afraid to join because there isn't a lot of structure.
I know it's an advanced class, but we have only 20 minutes.
Not an advanced class. It's not an advanced class.
We have only left 20 minutes left at that moment. Yeah, we began to read a new article. Every article. It is very difficult to cope with.
I agree. But that's part of the skill.
That's my opinion. I'm sorry.
I agree. So what I can do is to do that much earlier. It's because we had new people, and I wanted for them to understand where we left off, because they would think it was going to be a little bit confusing. But anyway, what I'll do is just give more time, so that if we're doing that, we'll do it in the beginning of the class, and I'll try to make sure we have at least 20 minutes, if not the second half of the class. I intended to have 30 minutes of discussion, but I also wanted to see how it would work with these different skills. So one important feedback I'm getting is that it's hard to understand each other. That's important for me to know. So maybe what I can do to help is to make sure that I have a summary for you. If it's hard to understand each other, maybe I can make sure that there's a summary for you of each other's points of view as well, something that you could read, so that it's really clear. Because I understood all of you. I didn't have a trouble understanding any of you, but what you were saying. Okay, but I'll keep your feedback in mind. Okay.
I think it is good for we have more opportunity to read more, but it is good for reading class, but it is not so good for speaking class.
Yeah, but as I said, I'll give you more time in the future. Today was a little bit of an experiment. Okay?
I think it's better to concentrate to one article to discuss.
As I said, I'll do it in the next class. I'll do it, absolutely.
I don't know. Maybe you are right. I don't know. No,
I'm agreeing with you, Yuki. I'm agreeing with you. I agree.
Yeah, you are a teacher.
But I'm agreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing. So Today was a little bit of an experiment to see how we could fit in for the time and things like that. Okay, I've got to go because we're way over time, so I've got to stop. We'll be back on Monday.
Article is very interesting. Oh, thank you for that. It's very interesting.
And we can also work on this again because there's a lot to talk about. We've barely scratched the surface. I'd like to find an article about the guy I was talking about in New York City so you can see some of this art. It's quite amazing, and it's gone. Last time I was there, it's gone. So that might be another class we can do in the future. I'd like to show you that.
Yes,
okay.
New York is the center of graffiti, yeah? No?
Well, something like that.
Something like that.
If you have questions, comments, or suggestions, don't forget, just send me a message to Verbling, especially if you have topics you want to work on for Hot Topics, which will be every Friday. Okay? Talk to you soon, everyone. See you next time.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Bye for now. Sorry about my cold. I have allergies.
I'm sorry
today.
for my comment.
Why? I agree with you. I agree with you. There's no problem. Okay. Bye.
On the whole, I highly appreciate your class.
Bye-bye.
Have a good weekend. See you.
Have a good weekend. Thank you.
Bye-bye.